Okay, good morning. It is 6:50 a.m. Pacific time. Today is, wow, October 8th. Back at the battle station today. I was really waiting for things to thicken back up, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, I mean the 10-year's still trading in the 2000s, even the 1500s right here at inside market, if that. And so it looks like you just have to adjust accordingly. It's going to be a lot more momentum trades, I think, and just have to be a lot quicker with the mouse. So what are we seeing today? The overnight is in the equity markets is pretty much risk off. So we're down like 40 or something points in S&Ps from the high. Cash open saw a little bit of a push higher, and then it's sort of been just sort of selling off, trying to catch a bounce, and it's not. It's just kind of hitting down. But what I'm seeing over here in Treasuries is that this has been selling the entire time. So even when the S&P pushes the lows, nobody wants to buy, and then as soon as we see any sort of a bounce, it just sells right back down. So the context for me is it's going to take a lot for this thing to get bought and get pushed up through. In other words, S&P is really going to have to start selling down. There was an opportunity to sell 28, 27.5 a little bit earlier, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not taking that. We violated the overnight high on the data that came out, which was a pretty big miss. If I remember, it was the PPI. Consensus was 0.1%, and it came in at negative 0.3%. It's kind of a big deal. So that's when we violated the overnight high. Otherwise, we just sort of traded up to it and then sold back down. So basically, the market's just sort of in a holding pattern, looking for either a massive sell-off over here with equities or the S&P. Or I think it's just going to sort of sell back down into the overnight range. That's just my opinion and bias as of today, as of right now. But until we get back up to 28, 28.5, or maybe get back or down to 23. I don't know, I'm not sure if I want to buy it down in here either. But yeah, there's not much, just sort of sitting on hands right now. I will say, now that we have a little bit of downtime, that yesterday was a beautiful trend day. I had the ladders up for about a week or so, just watching, and yesterday I just couldn't help myself. I had to jump in and sell it a couple times just because it was such a perfect trend day to the downside. And I am, just full disclosure, I'm trading on a simulator right now until I get my until I feel like I'm back up to speed, so maybe a couple weeks. But let's see what else happened. I probably would have been back up in trading a little bit sooner, but I changed brokers. I had changed over earlier in the summer. I changed over to Trade-of-8, and then I just recently changed back. And that is for a couple of reasons. The big one really is just that took a little bit of time off, a little bit more time off than I wanted to, but I took some time off, and Tradeovate isn't really a good product if you're going to take time off in between, number one. But the really big reason was I was getting slipped tremendously. I was getting slipped 3 and 4 ticks sometimes. I had a couple trades over in the ZB, and I got slipped 7 or 8 ticks, which is, in my opinion, just unacceptable across the board. That just cannot happen. I mean, I changed everything. I went away from a volume stop, just used a regular stop. Didn't matter. I was getting slipped. And I think what finally did it for me is I had a volume stop. I think I was in a buy position I bought in, and I had a volume stop, and it came down, and it actually never printed came down into my volume stop, never printed the level below, but sucked my stop up into the next higher tier. So it never traded into my volume stop, traded the level just above it, and sucked my orders up into that level. Never printed down. And that for me was just not going to happen. So I traded back, and that takes time. And I was a little bit lazy about it. So with the increased volatility and lack of liquidity, definitely just trading like a 2-lot at this point. Maybe even scale in, just using 1-lots. But you see how this is still a sell to me, and I'll tell you why. Because you're pushing the lows over here in the S&P. And if everybody really thought that the S&P was going to sell down and break through, then they would be buying this pretty aggressively, and they're just not. Everybody's still just looking for a bounce in the S&P. Let's do this too. I want to do that. Take a look at this offer here at 23. If we get up to it, is it going to trade? It's going to scale under this one, I think. It's just a 1-lot. That ain't going to fly. Just looking for a push higher. Looking for the S&P to keep building volume over there and pushing back up to the highs. See that? See those bids just pull off right there? To go back and look at that, but they were in the thousands, and it just, you could see them just yank right off. Whoa. So we got 34 up into this 28 even level. Hasn't pulled off yet. Just pulled off a little bit right there. Still holding at about 2,000. So that appeared to trade. Hopefully that's a solid offer there. We're right at, what is it, 3,000? 2,900 in the S&P. So it's a nice even number if anybody was going to buy it. Hopefully they buy it there. Some pretty good prints going. So basically we still think this is a sell. It came down, built volume, bounced off the 2 level a few times. Now we're bouncing off this even level here, 2,900. With each push down in S&P, it's just sort of a muted response. We're only getting 1 or 2 levels. So if the S&P starts pushing back up into the high of the day, high of the pit session, we'll definitely get this thing to sell back down. My opinion. And if we don't, if this thing continues to sell down, this might push through the high. Again, we're keeping an eye on this 28. Just had a couple hundred pull off there. But I'm 1,800 in the queue, so you got 1,800 pretty hard orders in there. Wow, 2,400 up. But that's state offer, so that's good. So in this, the market's changed a little bit. The bids and offers have changed as far as size, but everything's just relative, right? So we've had 4,000 absorb at this level. Relative to the bids and offers, that's 2 times the bid and offer. So that'd be equivalent if this was, back in the day when these were 5,000 or 4,000, that would be 8,000. 8 or 10,000 absorb. If you just use, look at it in a relative sense. But they can only keep that dam growing for so long. The S&P continues to sell down and sell down and sell down, then this thing will pop and go through. But thus far, they're doing a pretty good job of holding it. Starting to get the Ultra Bond and the 30-year to sell down. That's good. Keep an eye on these bids, and hopefully they just start to pull off. Starting to sell down over here. By the way, this is the Ultra Bond over here. This is a 30-year. This is a 5-year. Hopefully you've gathered this is the 10-year and this is the S&P. Didn't do any sort of review before I jumped into this trade. A little rusty, I apologize. Just can't seem to sell down past 26. Just can't catch a bid over there in the S&P. Uh, That's good. 20, that pulled off pretty quickly. This pulled off. Like to see that. Excellent. See how 25 half just melted right off? Come on, keep it going. Start attacking down. Keep an eye on this. See how that just melted right off? More or less, down to 600. No one's even hit down into it yet. It's yours if you want it. 500, 200, done. Took it out. Let's keep an eye on this guy. 600, down to 600. There's nothing there. Take it out. Come on, there's nothing really there. Beautiful. Let's see this guy. Ooh. Come on. Damn. Come on, let's get that fill. $900, $800. I just moved that target up. That's just one lot, by the way. I moved it up because I don't want to miss this move. I don't want this thing to trade 2 or 3 ticks back higher without getting something out of it. It looks like there's Ultra Bond's still pushing down. 30 years pushing. It's probably at the low of the move. Damn. I knew I should have moved that up right away. Just cost me 2 ticks right there. Or at least 1 tick. I should have moved that up right away. As soon as I saw that pushback. There's 1. Let's see what happens if the S&P falls back in. See how much of a bid. Let's see if we catch another bid over here, or if it just stays down. really hoping we would sell down into the closer to the pit low on that last move higher in the S&P. Hopefully it stays bid. Like I said, if we start trading back up into the high of the session, this will definitely sell back down, or I anticipate it will. I have no idea what it would definitely do. But if it falls down into the low, we could see this trading all the way back up into the high of the day. So just still keeping an eye on what's going on over here. The Ultra Bond 30-year, they are typically the faster moving products. And they can be a tell. A forward-looking indicator. But thus far, we're still just sort of trading at the point of control. I think I'm going to move this down. I don't want this to trade all the way back up into me. Hasn't gone yet, so we've lost sort of the momentum on the move down. And if it gets back up into 28, 28.5, I can always sell it again. But I want to lock in some of these profits. Still no tell over here, or the 5-year even. Point of control shifted up 1 tick. just waiting. As far as the calendar, we just have a 3-year auction note at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And then Jerome Powell speaks at some point this afternoon. Looks like 11 a.m. So the ultra bond's starting to sell down. 30 years getting to the bottom of the move. Just need the 30-year to get below 29-ish. Ultra bond to start pushing the lows again. 5 years kind of stuck at 0.2 Yeah, this is going to trade back up. It looks like it just stalled out too long there. Couldn't push through it. Just lost the momentum. Okay, we'll see how many let's see. That's strange. This is not working. Just trying to see how many ticks I pulled up here, but I guess I'm getting like a big red X on the positions view. Okay, I'll have to figure that out. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this video, and if we get back up into 28.5, then we'll maybe look to sell it back down. So we're back up to the high of the day. I got an order out at 28. We actually pushed up to 28.5, and I missed getting filled there. Seller stepped up pretty aggressively to push this back down. You can kind of see across all products, especially the 5-year. It's a pretty decent sized bid here, but they still haven't taken out 28 on this little move. Damn, 282 in the queue. Guess I could pay up. So while I had the video paused, I downloaded the latest version of Jigsaw because I was having some issues with looking at my positions and orders and whatnot. So that definitely fixed it. So I lost my my historical range here. Probably shouldn't have paid up right there just because we had that move going up in the S&P. And should have expected, that's a pretty strong, decent moves, an impulse move, and should have expected a bit of a pullback. And on that pullback, I might still be able to get filled at 28. On the pullback in, but I still think that buyers step up in the S&P and push this thing up higher, back up into the range. We're kind of at that point where it's 7:42 a.m. Pacific time, getting close to European close. That's when things change a little bit. If the Europeans were selling overnight, then they're closing their positions, they're covering, which can be construed as buying. So then just the normal market takes over and starts to buy this thing back up, or at least hits it into a sideways pattern in the S&P. Not really liking how the Ultra Bond at 30-year are pushing the highs. And obviously, if the S&P does fail to find buyers and falls all the way back into the lows, we might be kind of screwed. Some pretty good size across all products. Some sellers stepped up. Immediately 1600 on the offer, and the bid just completely evaporated. It's still there if you want to take it out, though. They got to be able to take this out. So one thing I'm kind of working on, or working through in my mind, is whether I should be scaling out of positions or just being all out, because obviously on that last trade, if I was all out at 25, which is where I was able to cover my first contract, it would have been a hell of a lot more profitable because I lost 3 ticks watching this thing come all the way back up. So I don't know in this sort of a market if I should be going all in, all out, or scaling in, scaling out. Just something to work on, I guess. So they all just sold down really quickly, especially the 5-year. That's good. So you got some sophisticated traders participating right there. Just try to get some follow through. I'm not gonna lie, I figured there'd be a little bit more action, but I'm sort of okay with it. I guess what haven't seen yet today is that just a rush of orders come through. I think that's probably the biggest fear of a thin market, or the biggest, I guess, consequence. Here we go, starting to get some movement now. Just seeing aggression on both ends. Something in the S&P. Seeing some aggression here on the sell side in the 10-year. Just got filled. So it's going to be 10 tick total today. Not a ton of money just because it's a smaller lot size. But overall, a good day. I'm going to sign out here and go do other things.